It was an act of arrogance. God has always wanted a wall of separation between church and state. He's always wanted the government to have certain responsibilities and the church to have certain responsibilities, and that the two cannot dictate to the other. That's always been God's plan for us as believers. The government should never be in control of religion and its activities, and the church, the temple, should never take the sword from the government. If you go back and read the darkest days of church history, it is when the church took the sword from the government. Those are the darkest days of church history. God never intended for the church to be the government, or that the government should be in control of the church. If we go back and read Romans 13, verses 1 through 7, the Apostle Paul makes it clear that the church must never try to replace the state or take the sword away from the government. The First Amendment, thank God! It was brilliant. It was spiritual. It was wisdom at its best. On the day that those founders wrote that First Amendment, I can see God in heaven saying, man, they're getting it right. And Jefferson never had a fear in his life that the church would ever try to dictate terms to the government, or that the government would ever try to dictate terms to the church. I trust Thomas Jefferson completely with that. I already told you the things that Thomas Jefferson accomplished, spiritual things that he accomplished when he was president. I trust Thomas Jefferson. It was a blessing for America. It meant that the government would stay out of the affairs of the church, and it would be equally as wrong for the church to ever try to take control of the government. The wisdom of God was in that one sentence, that First Amendment. If you want to know a whole lot about a person, ask them to read the First Amendment as it is written, and ask them to tell you, what does it mean? Both you and that other person might be surprised. The place to begin winning back our religious freedom is the written documents of our founding fathers. You might agree with the theme of sermons. You might disagree. But you cannot disagree with the facts and the truths that I'm bringing to you. I am not misleading you. I am not spinning a thing. I'm giving you a spiritual history lesson. And why is that needed? Because the vast majority of Americans think that the history of America began with Abraham Lincoln. I took a survey of middle schoolers back in May before we broke for summer. And I asked them, who's the greatest president? There wasn't a one of them that said anyone but Abraham Lincoln. There wasn't a one of them who said anything but Abraham Lincoln. Hey, was Lincoln one of the greatest presidents ever? Absolutely. We are forgetting the founders and the original intent of how they began this nation. That's the point of this theme. Amen.
Thank you for joining us on our pre-recorded Sunday morning service. If you would like a copy, you can contact the office at 660-392-5400 359-6762 or email us at wesleyum@sbcglobal.net. Feel free to visit us in person or online at wesleyunitedmethodist.us, where you will always find open hearts, open minds, and open doors. May the blessings of Jesus Christ be upon you in every aspect of your life.